Hey everyone, I'm back. We're gonna do a little how-to on resin today. There's a few things that I've learned that I thought I would share with you guys. That just makes it a little bit easier for resining. We're gonna do a box top. This is the top to a little chest that I bought here. This is what the bottom looks like. And I just took all the hardware off. And then I just leave it in the box that it goes to. And that way when I'm done, I can just reattach it. I'm gonna do something with the box. I'm not sure what yet, as far as staining it or just putting a clear coat on, but I'll do something to the bottom of the box. So that's the top of the box. And I've just taped it down a little bit here. So when I take the tape off, and I've taped everything inside and out, because you can see how I would have gotten paint on the underside of that wood, and I don't want to do that. So anyhow, when I take the tape off, there'll be a small ledge of resin here. And of course the design from the blooms that I did on it. And then I have a trivet, and I have 4 coasters that we're going to do. Before I get started, I wanted to show you, hopefully we can get a little better view of these. Let's see, I want to get rid of the ones that I didn't do. These are the ones I did in the video the other day. They're now dry. The white ones that you're seeing here, I didn't do. I just did the darker ones to show you guys. I thought there was, well, I have a darker one, but I got white paint on it, so I can't show you that one. But here they are. Those are the ones that I got finished. These were from the first video I did that I didn't like, and then these were from the black one that I did. Hopefully we're getting, let me see if I can get them a little bit closer and get it to focus. No, it's not going to focus. So anyhow, those are the cabochons that I dipped the other day. So I'm going to move those out of the way so they do not get resin. One of the first things I do when I resin is I put these black garbage bags down. They're just, you know, the really big black garbage bags. And I put those down because they're really good. If you use puppy pads, I've used puppy pads, I've used both sides, it's just a sticky mess. So with the black garbage bags, I can just fold them up and throw them in the garbage when I'm done. I don't have to worry about, you know, what I'm going to do with my surface. So, and then I can continue to work once they're put aside. I have notes today so that I hopefully don't forget things. One of the first things I do when I start to figure out what I'm going to resin is I go around the edges and just make sure that they're all covered. Because sometimes, you know, you miss corners, you miss edges, and you don't want to get something resin and then realize, oh crap, I forgot, you know, to do an edge somewhere. So I go around and do all the edges. The second thing I do is to make sure that everything is taped already. You can see these were taped. I was good. I taped them before I poured. That is your best bet. But if you don't do that, it's okay. This one I did not. This one I had to go back and tape today. So it's okay if you don't. It's just that the tape comes off better if you do it before you pour on your tile. Okay, then the next step, and I'm going to put all these steps in my drop down, you know, the little triangle drop down description box. I will put all these steps down for you. The next step is the alcohol wipe. And I did all of these, but I wanted to show you how I do my alcohol wipe. So I have just a regular paper towel folded into a square. I get that towel pretty wet with alcohol. And you're going to do a fast wipe. So what you want to do is wet paper towel, wipe the surface, you're good. Do not go and wipe again. Wipe your sides. Okay, and that's it. Let it dry. The reason for that is alcohol makes the paint a little sticky. If you go over and over that surface, you're going to get lint from your paper towel on your surface, and that's not good. That's going to create little fuzzies everywhere, and you're going to be cursing your resin doing it. So just a quick swipe with the alcohol, let it dry. It dries very quickly. Oh, and make sure when you're doing that you have your gloves on, because you don't want any oils from your hands to get on anything. So keep everything as oil-free as you can. All right, so that is on that. The next step, now that they're prepared to go, I take my cups and I use clear cups so that you can see where you're filling the cup up to. I counted up 5 lines. I also like the ridged cups because you can count your lines. So I counted up 5 because I have 2 large trivets, a box top, and 4 coasters. These are 12-ounce cups. That is probably, up to here, is probably about 5 ounces. Okay, because the cup gets wider up here. So I'm just assuming it's about 5 inches to here. You're not weighing this resin. But by the way, this is Stonecoat countertop resin, art epoxy resin. And I order it in the half gallon. It comes in these 2 bottles. You can see my labels are gone because I heat this up. I'll tell you about that in a minute, in hot water. So anyhow, I count my ridges, mark my cup. And that way when I'm pouring the liquid in, I have 2 cups. I already have my runny liquid in this cup. I'm going to put my thicker liquid in this cup. Okay? Equal amounts. So mark your cup. If it goes up a little bit above your mark, I recommend, I didn't do it today, but I recommend that you pour the thicker one first, because that's the harder one to get in the cup. The runnier one, you can pour some back in. It's easier to do that. So the thicker one, do first. Can't remember now. I think that's the hardener is the thicker one, but not real sure. Anyhow, you'll know because when you tip your bottles, it's thick. You can tell which one's runny and which one's not. All right. So what I do then is mark my cups, pour my liquid in up to that line. That's why I like the see-through cups, because you can tell where you're pouring. So roughly 5 ounces in each cup, I'm figuring, would be 10 ounces total, and that should cover everything I have here. There is one trivet that is not on the screen, you can't see. So I have 2 large trivets, a box top, and 4 coasters. All right, when it starts getting closer, I'm almost out of resin. I've got to order some more. When it gets to the top of that line, just, be really careful where you're at with it. Okay. I'm almost there, not quite. So before I start, I look at the temperature in my house, and if it's below 70 degrees, then I take these bottles out to the kitchen, put them in a pan of hot water, and let them sit for a good 20-30 minutes before I start. Today, it's not that cold in my house, so I just ran them under the hot water to get them a little bit warmed up. Definitely a good idea. I had some this winter that I didn't do that with, and the resin just peeled away in big puddles. It just was a horrible mess. And the only thing I could figure was the tiles were cold and the resin was cold. So make sure you don't do that. My tiles feel a little cold today, but not horrible. We're about in the 70s here. All right, so I am going to mix. I'm going to pour, I prefer to pour the thinner mixture into the thicker cup, just because it, wait a minute. Oh yeah, there's my thinner. Let me move this out of the way a little bit so I can show you. Okay, so here's my thicker. You can see, can you see that running? It's just thick. So I'm gonna mix my thinner. I've got a clean stick. I'm gonna pour this in, and I'm gonna scrape all my sides really well. I have found the more methodical you are with this, the better. So take your time, make sure you're not in a hurry when you're doing this. Don't be under a time constraint, and just breathe and take it nice and slow is the best way. Make sure you get all of that, as much of that liquid out of that cup as you can. Once you mix your two liquids together, you have about 30 to 45 minutes to get it down on your surface and spread and bubbles out and all that good stuff. So edges covered. So I have my clock sitting here. I always make sure that you have something to time this. You can see I'm really scraping that cup. I want to make sure I've gotten everything out of there. Make sure, anyhow, you make sure you have a timer and clock, because you have to mix this. I mix this for 3 minutes. Some people say 2. I just think that extra minute is better. Okay, I think we're good. So I'm going to stick this cup into this cup, because these cups are on the thin side, and it just helps give you more strength when you're stirring. So we're going to start the stirring process. Keep your stick in the cup as much as possible. Scrape those sides really good. Use that flat side of your stick. Make sure you're scraping the bottom. I go back and forth on it in all the nooks and crannies in the bottom. Okay, and then the only time you want to take your stick out of the cup is to wipe. Okay, and you need to do that 3 or 4 times. And here in a minute, I'm going to change sticks so that I have a clean stick. I just want to make sure that I'm getting everything that was on that stick into this mixture. So we're just going to stir and stir and stir. We're going to stir for 3 minutes. And every so often, we're going to wipe the stick. I'm going to wipe it really good right now. Get everything off of there. Okay, and then I'm going to go with a fresh new stick for the remainder of the pouring. Okay, we're at 1 minute now. This is the longest 3 minutes, I'm telling you, to stir. Continually scraping your sides. Resin is a little scary when you first do it because it is expensive, and I know, I have been there. You're afraid you're gonna mess it up, but I will tell you, worst case scenario, you put it away, it doesn't look nice when you take it out, you can sand it back down and do it again. Paintings are a nightmare. I will tell you, anyone who is successful resining a painting has my utmost admiration, because it is hard to resin a painting. Smaller ones, not so much, but the bigger ones, yeah. Sometimes you can do, 3-4 coats of resin on a painting. I don't know why. I think it has something to do with the surface not being hard enough. So I'm still trying to perfect that. Much easier on tiles. So, and the reason I wanted to show this to you today is because the tiles, the coasters and the trivets and the boxes, they sell really well. So if you can get this resin part of it down, you can make some money doing this. And by the way, everything I'm showing you today is for sale. So if anybody's interested in anything, just message me in the comments or private message me on Facebook and we can talk. My prices are pretty reasonable, and I will be putting cork. I'll show you the cork that I put on the back of these, and I will be putting that pretty little box together too. Okay, we are at 3 minutes. So there you go. Got it mixed up. It's clear. No strings in there. You want to see it. You want it to be nice and clear. Be able to see the bottom of the cup. You're going to have a ton of bubbles. That's pretty normal. All right. So what I do when I resin is I'll go through, and this is the other trivet you can't see. That's the black with the pink, the coral berry. I'm going to do that one today too. So, all right. So what I do is go through, next step, important step, glove up. I put 2 on this hand and 3 on this hand, as per Christina Welch. Learned that from her. You know, I'm not ever name dropping in my videos because I really don't. I know Christina, but I don't know these other people very well. But I always like to give credit where credit is due, and people that I learned from as I've gone along. Been doing this for about a year now. So thank you, Christina. Great idea. You have 3 pairs of gloves on this hand because you're going to take more off of this hand. But just layer up your gloves. I know in this, what we're going through right now, these gloves are kind of a commodity. I feel kind of bad using more of them, but this is all the resining I'm going to do for right now. So 5 pairs of gloves I think we can spare. I'm a hairdresser, so I can get gloves pretty easily. They should tap into that market, actually, because I didn't have any trouble getting gloves. All right, so I'm going to put a puddle on everything. If you're doing a ton, then don't put a puddle on everything. Just kind of maybe do 4 or 5 at a time. And your puddle, you know, you want it to be a good sized puddle, but especially with this being the first layer, sometimes I can get away with only doing 1 layer because of my technique that I do. But sometimes not. It just depends. But you want to put a good amount on there. All right. Get those bottles out of the way. Okay. And then you're going to pick it up. Okay, you can see my puddle on there. It's spread out almost to the edges, so you just want to go through and run it up to the edges. I'm not real concerned with the sides at this point, and I'll show you why in a minute. But just get it on the surface. You can run your hand around the edges just to get it to run down a little bit. Okay, there you go. So let's do that with all of them. And again, you have 30 to 45 minutes to work with this, so not a huge rush. You want to make sure that you take these steps and do it methodically so that you're not missing a step. That's the most important thing I can teach you guys, is just making sure, I love this little trivet, making sure that you do every step. It's like baking a cake. You know, you have your recipe and follow the recipe. It makes a huge difference. I did a batch of resin. My last batch of resin was almost perfect. I didn't have to recoat. I think maybe 1 thing came out where I had to recoat it. So that was exciting. And I truly believe because I've learned, but I've also followed these steps. learned, you know, I had to figure out the bugs and what works best for me. And now I'm sharing it with you guys. So you cannot be so afraid of resin. Okay, I'm just spreading it out. I count as I go, so I make sure I get all those sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, on this one is 6. Okay. These coasters are so pretty. These are the coasters that I matched up. I should have done that trivet, but I didn't. That really pretty purple and lime green one that I did, which was the boysenberry and the key lime, turned out really pretty. So these are the matching coasters. And just make sure, you know, when you're looking at it in the light, that you're getting everything covered. We are going to go over the sides, but I just want to make sure that when I'm feeling and I can kind of see in the glare if I didn't hit something, you want to make sure that it all gets covered. This will self-level, so no need to really worry about drips on anything, or at least not at this stage. Or unevenness, you know, just get it as even as you can. 3, 4. Okay. So now we have everything covered. Now what I normally do is take a pair of gloves off. Uh-oh. I have one doesn't want to come. Okay, so I'm going to take the gloves off. Okay, you be on the floor. I'm so happy that I took the carpet out of this room because I really don't have to worry about it as much. All right, so I'm down to 1 glove and 2 gloves. Looks like I have a hole there, but I don't think I do. All right, so at this point now I'm going to take my torch. And yes, you need a torch if you're going to resin. Make sure I don't have a mask on. I don't normally wear a mask, but I don't normally get that close. Make sure you have good ventilation going on in your home. Countertop resins is a really good one as far as the toxic level of it, but you don't want to be near it when you're torching because you're heating up you're getting fumes. So I'm just going to torch this one out of your camera view real quick, and then I'm going to go over these. I have my flame is turned up pretty high, so I don't need to get super close. Just taking out bubbles. We're going to do this 2 more times before you put them away. Okay, I have not done any drips yet because you don't need to. Doing drips at this point is kind of a waste of time because we're going to be adding more to the sides. That was the other thing. Oh, I have a lot of resin. That made a lot. So I might be doing that purple trivet. Anyhow, this is one of my little secret tricks to the sides, so that you don't have to do a second coat normally. And so you're just going to take your leftover resin. I always keep a little bit. This time I have a lot of it. Take your stick, okay, and drizzle along the edges, hitting those corners. Make sure you get the corners. And this just is a little bead of resin, and it's just to ensure that your sides are getting covered and your corners are getting covered. It doesn't take a whole bunch, but just make sure you stop at those corners and really give them a good drizzle. And this will fall over the edges and coat them very nicely. And I have a hair in my resin. Let's get that out before it goes into probably a banded hair. All right. Okay, so that was that one. I'm going to go ahead and do this one off camera just real quick. I'll put that one away last so I can make sure it got covered. Okay. Go do my pretty little box. And you can see already how vibrant they become after putting that resin on. I mean, it's just incredible. Especially with these primary elements, the pigments. They've got so much sparkle to them. Okay, I'm going to hit those edges, corners. All right, so let's finish up with these. Hope you guys are all doing well through all of this coronavirus, staying safe. It's been really hard for me. You know, I vacillate every day if I should still be going into work, but you know, I need the income and my clients need their hair done. So no, it's not, you know, the end of the world if they don't get it done. But if I don't stay on track with my clients, then when all this is over, it's going to be a mess. So we're taking every precaution that we can at work, and, you know, definitely keeping everybody safe. So yeah, I mean, that's all you can do, I guess. Everybody has to do their own thing. All right, I got everything covered. So now what I do is take a skewer stick, and I like to use these because they are longer and skinnier, and they just do a great job at cleaning up the edges. So I'm just gonna go around this box top. I don't really need to worry about drips, except I don't like a bunch of drips when I'm putting them away. So I'll just go around it anyway. Don't need to worry about drips on this one because you know, it's taped pretty far up. So let's give these a swipe. I'm gonna have to go get that other trivet. I'm hoping that I taped it. So I'm just going along the bottom of the edge and getting the drips off, just like you would with a painting. You don't want to have a bunch of drips. You're going to have some, and that's why you tape. So, not a big deal if there's some on there after you put them away, but let's just get the extra off right now. So just running that stick around the edge. Another reason I like these is because you can kind of bend them if you need to get in a tight spot, the skewers. Okay, almost done. And then we're going to torch again. And I'm going to go find that other trivet because I really don't want to waste this resin. Okay, so we got all our drips off. And my hand's a little sticky, but I'm just going to wipe it off with a paper towel. And let's torch again. If you look down, you know, get down and kind of look at the surface, you can kind of see where there's still bubbles and see if there's any hairs or any fuzz. I lost my tweezers. I had 2 pair of tweezers and I can't find any of them. Actually, I think I had 3 pairs. So I need to buy a new pair of tweezers, but that's, you know, a good thing to keep around. If there's a hair in it, a dog hair or a fuzz, I'll just use my skewer and push it off. But they all look really good so far. Another reason I took the carpet out of this room. So I'm just looking at the glare on them, and it kind of tells me if the bubbles are gone and if there's any hairs in them. So they're looking good. I also give them a once over before I put them away in the cabinet. I'm going to move these out of the way here. Look at how beautiful that one is with the resin on it. I mean, it just makes the colors pop and sparkle. So pretty. All right, let me grab, if I can find it. I may have to go out in my closet out here. I'm coming back, I promise. I have a linen closet that I made my husband clean out so I could have more shelves to dry things on. Okay, and all I have these sitting on are cups, and I reuse my cups over and over and over. If they get big pieces of resin on them, I just break them off. So let's give this a swipe, get some resin on it. You can see what a pretty match those are going to be. Try to keep everything off your table that doesn't have to be there because this, you know, you're going to get resin on it. So, in fact, I just got resin on my paper towel. Okay. There we go. Gosh, I love that boysenberry with that key lime. So pretty. All right, give that a few minutes. I'm going to start putting some of these away in my cabinet. I'm lucky I have a cabinet that I can put them in to keep the dust and hair away. If you don't, just leave them where they are. Try to cover them with a box if you can. But if you can't, something else I saw that I did with a painting, which worked really well, is they put cups down and then like a poster board on top or a foam board on top. And that helps too. Just helps keep any dust that's coming from above away. So I'm going to give that some resin. I pick these up and kind of look at the surface of them before I put them away, and that just gives me an idea. I think they all probably need another torch. So let me spread this out real quick. I'm kind of running, you know, two things at once here because I want to use this resin. So I'm going to get that spread out and let it sit for a minute. And then I'll go back and do the sides on that. Right now we are at about 20 minutes, so we are perfectly fine with time. All right, let me take another glove off. And let's give it a torch. I can't even tell you how pretty this box top is. I'm going to try and lift it up so you can see it, but oh my gosh. I need another glove. Just beautiful. Those primary elements in there. I can't remember which ones I used on that one, but I think they were all the blues. I think I did, this one was in a video that I did. So I don't know if you can see that sparkle in there, but oh my gosh, so pretty. That's going to be gorgeous lid. Gorgeous box. All right, so I'm looking at that one. I don't see any lint, no bubbles, no nothing. So that one's going to get put away. And usually I just grab the cups they're on and make sure they're not too drippy, and then I go to my cabinet with them. And then guys, I know this is the hardest part about resin, but leave them alone. This one has lots of drippies, so I'm going to get those. Oh yeah, that one has drippies because I didn't drip it. Okay, let's do these other ones. Get them put away, and then I can finish that purple one. Okay, let's see what this one looks like. Beautiful. No hairs, no lint. Oh my gosh, you guys, when I Actually, I think a hair just went in there. Oh, you're bad. Bad, bad, bad hair. I'm just going to scoot it off. Hopefully that got it. When I first started doing resin, you know, everybody said, oh, use your paper towels to clean. And so I was using paper towels, and then I just got all kinds of lint, and I was going crazy. I'm like, what is going on? And, okay, looks like I got that here. He's off of there. Okay, so we're going to put this one, actually, I want to torch one more time. So just put fresh resin down, make sure you give it a torch. Get those air bubbles out. Keep the torch away from the resin. You know, you don't want to, you want to pop the bubbles, but you don't want it to get too close. If you get too close, it'll burn your resin, and it'll catch on fire. You'll actually see it. I've been there, done that. So let's put this one away. I think I interrupted my thought. When you're putting these away, I know, hardest thing ever is to not look at them. Don't touch them. Don't do anything if you can help it for 12 to 24 hours. Just leave them alone. Okay, just gonna get some of that extra off of that one. Do you see how pretty that is, guys? Gorgeous. Okay, that one's going under. Looks good. No. Yep, sides are all covered. I'm telling you guys, I don't know who I learned that from, because I watched, you know, 1,000, felt like 1,000 videos on resining. But seriously, one of the best tricks that I was taught, or I learned, was that going back and doing your sides again. Just make sure that you're getting that resin to cover your sides and your edges, your corners. Okay. I'm going to let these coasters sit here for a minute. They're fine. I'm going to go over this one. Let's see, does this stick? I'm going to go over the edges with this one. Give it another torch. And really, to not have to go back and do this again is, you know, if you can get it in one resin, it's the most incredible feeling, because you are saving money. I still have resin left. Okay, I'm going to let that one drip. Let's put these coasters away. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what I do when I finish. Make sure that when you're putting this stuff away that you have a very level surface. I have an old wall unit. I'm going to give those one more torch. An old wall unit that has glass doors on it, so I can put them away and close the doors. The wall unit takes up quite a bit of room in my studio, so I've, you know, gone back and forth with it, but it's really nice to be able to have those shelves to use. All right, let's put those coasters away. They look good. No hairs. The coasters I have on smaller cups. Kind of nice for the cabinet, because then they sit a little bit lower than the trivets. So it gives me a little bit more space to put them in. Okay, we're going to close that door. I'm going to torch this. Okay, I'm going to take my gloves off. This trivet is one that I finished, that I've already got a coat of resin on, and that's just one coat of resin, and it's beautiful. Sides are all covered nicely. Okay, so now here we are with the back. And I just take an X-Acto knife and get under the tape, pull it up, and then take it off. Now this one was not taped before I poured. You can tell because there's paint under there. So I may have a little bit of trouble getting those off. If you do have trouble getting them off, just take your torch and hit it, heat it up a little bit, and then they usually come right off. Okay, so that's what you're gonna do. Be careful when you're pulling it on the edges that you don't pull the paint and the resin up with it. You can do that if you pull too hard. So just be, you know, a little careful with it when you're taking those edges off. I kind of like go from the side, so get them up and then, you know, pull from the side. All right, that's enough of that one. Just wanted to show you guys that. Then what I do is take some 2020 sandpaper and sand the edges down and the sharp corners. And then I paint the back of it. And then I trace around cork and then cut it a little bit smaller around my trace lines. Glue it down with E6000 and you have your cork back. And I'll show you one of those real quick that I have done. And then the coasters, I just buy these on Amazon. And they're already self-adhesive cork. They have an adhesive back. You just peel that back off and stick them down. They're awesome. They're, you know, 4x4, basically for your 4x4 coasters. And they go on there really nicely. And you can see my backs are all painted. So it gives a nice clean line. I sign the cork. And that's when that's finished. And then this is the other one. And it's, and there's the cork back. So they're nice gifts to give to people. That's the set my mom purchased for a fundraiser, which they're not having now, but she said she's going to buy them anyway, and she'll use them. They'll have another fundraiser at some point, so she can use them. All right, guys, I'm trying to think if that's everything I want to tell you. I think I got all my notes are done. I still have a little bit of resin left, and I'm at about 30 minutes. So I'm going to clean this one up and put it away, and then maybe do a couple coasters if I have some that are handy, just to use up the rest of that resin. Don't waste your resin. It's too expensive. I think those 2 bottles was a half a gallon, and it's $70 with tax. So that's why you got to charge, you know, I charge $35 for this size trivet finished. And the coaster sets, I charge $25 for the set. So you got to get your money back. You know, the tiles don't cost very much. The paint costs a little bit if you're doing blooms, but when you spread it out over a lot of them, it's not that much. But your resin is where you spend the money. All right, guys, hope you learned a lot from today, and I want you guys to try this. If you run into any issues, give me, you know, just private message me or leave me a comment, and I'll try to help you through it, because that's what I'm here for. I love to teach people. It's my passion. I was a teacher for 6 years. I taught kindergarten through 8th grade, and I just like to help people learn. That's my thing. So you guys have a great week. Have a safe week. Like and share this video with your friends, and so they can hopefully do some resining too. And stay safe. Like, share, and subscribe. The instructions will be in my drop-down menu. And have a great week. I'll see you guys. I'm going to do another video for you tomorrow that will be a spin bloom video. So you get one more video this weekend, and that's my video of the week. Take care. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I'm back. I just realized that I didn't tell you if you have silicone or oil in any of this stuff, you need to wash them with some Dawn dishwashing detergent carefully. Just rub them carefully and rinse them off real good. and then do your alcohol wipe. That should take care of any silicone that you have down. If you get the resin on and you see it peeling away, that means you didn't get all the silicone off. So you can rub it in those spots and hopefully it'll go back over. If it does not, don't worry about it. Let the resin dry and just recoat it. Just sand it down with your 220 sandpaper, more alcohol, and recoat, and it should be fine. But I forgot, I don't have silicone on these, any of them, so that's why I didn't tell you about silicone. So there you go. I'll talk to you later. Bye.